Okay, I am so excited for this one. We are back for another amazing conversation with David Marcus, CEO of Lightspark. We are here in Mexico City in the Bitso business booth, is what we're going to name it, powered by Agora. Shout out to that team for helping us get on base with this.
Stable Dash Live is sponsored by Agora, built for global institutions moving money at the speed of the internet. You can learn more at agora.finance.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Give us your quick intro on Lightspark. If you met someone who doesn't know you on the show floor, how are you introing yourself?
So Lightspark is a global money movement platform, and we have three different things we do. So the first one is Lightspark Grid, that enables large platforms, banks, and the likes to move money in real time to 65 countries, dozens of blockchains and stablecoin assets, all orchestrated, all real time. Then we have Grid Global Accounts, which we announced 6 weeks ago, that enables like all of the large platforms that actually do a lot of payouts to now have a branded dollar or multi-currency account with a Visa card that allows that balance to be spent at 175 million merchants, plus access to Grid. So like balance can move to a local or global payment network in 65 plus markets. And then lastly, we have Spark, which is our Bitcoin L2 that helps us move both stablecoin and Bitcoin in real time for the purpose of the platform. And our clients are banks and very large like gig economy creator platforms or large multinationals that are looking to move treasury around in real time.
Yeah. So the first question I have for you, I've been following Lightspark. I've been fanboying over Lightspark for many years. I consider Lightspark to be, when I first heard about it, the way that one of my close friends, Xander, who's also very just deep in the Bitcoin space, and I am as well, he framed Lightspark as, I think I was in a moment in my career even where I was like, okay, I want to go work for a company and I want this to be a company that's like really crushing it with the intersection of Bitcoin and institutional. I'm like, Xander, you know this space better than anyone. Who's doing that best? He's like, you heard of this team, Lightspark? And since then, I've been following you guys, and it's been really interesting to see some of the things that have held true the whole time, but also some of the evolution of even how have framed what is top of mind right now. How, for those who maybe have followed Lightspark, maybe that's a question people like me are asking, is like, what are some of these key pieces of learning or evolution that you've experienced as you've built the business, and
right.
Bring us into a little bit of that.
Yeah,
it seems
sure.
like it kind of started really deep in like maybe some like Bitcoin focused things that have become more open-handed. I'm curious if that's how you feel about it.
Yeah. So I mean, look, I actually haven't like explained that arc before, so it's a good opportunity to do this. But look, I mean, the whole reason we started Lightspark is that like a bunch of us tried the Libra thing at Facebook, and it didn't work exactly the way that we had intended to, because wrong place, wrong time, etc. I mean, we don't have to go there again.
Many great podcasts.
We've talked about it a lot. But like the base thing is my chronic frustration with the fact that we don't have an internet for money. That money doesn't move on the internet like any other piece of content. And so when we came out of the Libra journey, bruised by the experience we had, we're like, okay, we're never going to actually let ourselves be killed so easily. And as such, we need to build on top of the most decentralized, the most neutral platform that ever existed for money, which is Bitcoin. And so we started there and started really working on making Lightning better, making it more enterprise grade, then really reached the limits of what we could do with Lightning. And so we had to build our own L2. And we also wanted to support stablecoins on top of Bitcoin. So we built Spark.
V1 was UMA. UMA was like that moment.
Yeah. So UMA, so the interesting thing with UMA is like, maybe let's do this like from the endpoints of where we want to take this and like how we go there and like the detours. So like the endpoint of all of this is there's an internet for money, and you can move any currency, any stable coin in real time, 24/7, the same way you send a text message or send an email. whether you're a person or whether you're a business, and it works and it's cheap and it's available to everyone. And you have like an email address, you'll have a money address, and that was like the purpose of UMA. And so that's kind of the end game. And so we started with UMA, which had like three properties. And UMA stands for Universal Money Address. It's an open source standard for global money movement. And it has three components. One is human readable address. Two is compliance. So you can actually exchange like, AML, like, sanction checks and all these things like before the transaction actually is initiated. And three is an FX quoting system that enables like the sender to have a locked quote for a period of time in local currency of the money you want to send. And what we realized is like, if you want to do this, like, everyone has to adopt the same address, right? And it's so hard to actually do a thing where everyone adopts the same thing. It's like a cold start network problem. So for now, we've kind of put aside a little bit like the addressing piece, but we kept the two most important parts, which are the compliance bit and the FX quote bit.
It was sort of like, given your background, it's like you have to use PayPal to send PayPal to someone else is kind of the idea versus like,
yeah, I mean,
there's constraints.
The general idea is like, if everyone has an address and everyone adopts a standard, which happens to be open source for money addresses, it'll be great, right?
Yeah.
It's no more routing and checking, IBANs. Like you have one universal standard, it'd be great. The problem is like you first need to get everyone on the same network before you are able to do that. And if it becomes a hindrance, then, just drop the part that's actually causing the most friction, which is like changing the behavior and the habits of people and businesses in the way that they send money.
Okay.
And so we kept the two parts, which are like not the address, the compliance bit and the FX bit. And we packaged all of that on Grid. And so now if you're using Grid, which is our global money movement orchestration platform, now if you're using Grid, you can actually get a lock quote to send any local currency in any of the 65, soon to be 70 countries that we support on the network, where we have deep integrations into local payment systems. This is all built on open standards. We don't have any ambitions to own the network and make our clients tenants on our network. We want it to be as open as possible. That's why like most of this is open sourced and available to build on by everyone.
Yeah.
And now it's like taking off like crazy because like we still have like, core settlements that's enabled by Bitcoin on Spark and Lightning. But we also support dozens of other chains and stablecoins. And we think of these as other types of payment networks in the same way that we integrate into, here in Mexico into the SEPA payment system, or PIX in Brazil, or SEPA in Europe. And so we support all the chains, all the domestic payment networks. We can orchestrate the payment from A to B in a really easy way. We have, I think, the best developer-facing platform that enables you to build with AI agents really easily and get going really quickly. And so we've basically accumulated over the last 4 years a number of capabilities that I think are really unique in the market now.
Yeah. So going into the three pieces, turning into two, what were like, that seems like a really, really, I can only imagine like the internal like debates and conversations around this. Like what were the key trade-offs or things that you were thinking about? Because it seems like, I know that the team has been very bold and like very convicted in some ways around this like corporate chain stuff and like the danger of that and the things that you've seen there and the downsides of doing that wrong. What were those types of considerations? Because it seems like with this new going down from 3 to 2 in this way, it is way more accessible and plays well with others, which is great in some ways. It sounds like it's being adopted. But what were those trade-offs that you were thinking through?
No, I mean, look, I think we still want to ultimately build on an open network that we don't control and we don't own. And we think that's really, really important for the world. Like if we basically take our current payment infrastructure and banking infrastructure and just do a search and replace all with the current names and have new names instead of the current banks that control everything, it would be kind of a sad outcome for the world. And, the internet is not that, right? The internet is not CompuServe or AOL, like with another name. It's like a brand new, different open network and infrastructure. And I wouldn't be spending my time doing this if I wasn't building an open network. I feel like, great, you can build a very successful company, sell it for a couple of single-digit $1 billion maybe, and it's like some people are happy with that. I'm at the point of my life and my career where that's like really not that exciting to me. And I really want to build something that, lasts longer than this generation and is like actually an open network that people use to move money around the world in an open, non-controlled network that looks and behaves like the internet. And we're just going to do whatever it takes to actually get there. And for that to happen is you still have to give people what they want. And if they want to actually send, USDT on Polygon or USDT on Tron, like, fine, like, use our platform, do it. And, gradually over time, you can use it for many other things that are, helping you move money in a more seamless way.
Yeah. It's interesting because I think most people in this room probably can't say that in terms of their motives for working on what they're working on or building what they're building. I think having a single digit billion, like, I think a lot of people who do build are doing so for motives in that way.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, like, how has your relationship to work changed because of that? Or maybe what motivates you or how you measure success? And when did that change, would you say?
I mean, look, I feel like, first of all, there are two things. Like, you see a lot of payments companies in general or stablecoin companies, like, they get to the point where it gets really hard. And it's hard when you start, but like, it gets really, really hard as you move more volume and you interface with more jurisdictions, and you have to deal with more regulators, and you have to deal with more bank partners, and you have to deal with all of these things. And then you start to see like what it is to operate a large scale payment system. And then you're like, whoa, like, to get to the next level, is going to be like a massive lift. And most people are just like, if they have a good payout because they're right place, right time, they're going to take it. And I feel like, I've done this. And so I know, I know the drill. I've done this in my life. But I'm at the point in my career where I'm like actually not motivated by that anymore. I'm actually motivated in something that we can build that's truly differentiated, that's going to be a great business, of course, but that's actually like a business that gives the tools to many types of different businesses and banks and consumers and developers to actually go build the next generation global money movement applications that are going to be used by billions of people. That gets me excited.
Yeah. Okay. So let's Grid. Grid is the hero of the moment for Lightspark, it seems like. How did that product kind of come to be, and how has it evolved lately? It seems like there's been some really key unlocks with that product. Bring us into just how Grid formed and what you're seeing built with it, maybe today versus the future. I know I just packed like 8 questions in there, so
that's okay.
Pick whichever one.
That's okay. No, look, I mean, for me, like, so Grid is kind of like the natural evolution of our product iterations. So, like we talked about UMA, like in a world where every last bank and wallet adopted UMA, the addressing standard plus everything else, then we wouldn't have to build like all of the connectivity into the domestic payment systems, right? Because like everyone is on the same network. It's a new rail. It's like, it's real time. It's super efficient. Everyone's happy. Like, it's great consumer experience. It's fantastic for everyone. Sadly, the world doesn't work that way. And so at some point, I was like, okay, like, we're going to, again, have to do the nitty gritty work of integrating with all of the domestic payment systems around the world and get licenses everywhere and, buy companies and do all of these things to actually get to that last mile, which is going to take us 10 years. And okay, fine, let's go do it. And so we started that journey. And now we are live in 65 countries. So meaning if you open an account now on Lightspark, like, grid.lightspark.com, you open it right now and we set you up. Same day, you'll be able to send real-time money in local currencies to 65 countries in real time with locked quotes that enables you to send exactly what the recipient wants to receive in their local currency.
Is random question, because we had breakfast this morning with a server who's sending money. Our team was having a breakfast servers sending money to Venezuela. Is that in the network right now?
Not right now, because Venezuela is still a sanctioned country.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's probably
so as soon as it's
experiencing issues.
As soon as the sanctions are lifted or eased, like, we will be able to send money to Venezuela.
So is Grid more better understood as a like mainly developer focused products versus something that like the server at breakfast can go and like get that done? Or would you that person's
so
like
they would use basically the apps that our customers
use Grid?
So
Okay.
like, we have like hundreds of wallets, neobanks that have built on Grid that are using Grid as the backbone for money movement. So Grid is not only fiat though. So we can also take deposits in USDC and enable customers to make a deposit in USDC and then do Swift, like if that's what they want to do. Or you want to deposit in USDC and do a payment in rupees in India, we can do that. Or you want to do a deposit in euros and pay someone with USDT in some other countries, you can do that. Or USDC or any other stablecoin, you can do that. So any type of permutations across dozens of chains and 65 countries, domestic payment networks, we can do. And you can do payouts, you can do pay-ins, you can do virtual accounts. So you can do virtual named accounts, which is really super helpful for neobanks that want to launch in new jurisdictions and give their customers virtual IBANs and others. And so we can do that as well. So it's in my opinion, the most powerful global money movement platform available to build on today. And that's just on the Grid side. And where it goes from now, it's basically every single payment system that exists in the world that's real time, we will get to. So, we'll have an announcement this week, but, or, I can say it right here, why not?
Do it.
But, so like, this week we're announcing that we're adding China to the list of supported countries, for instance, which is really hard to do if you want to support B2C case, like B2C or C2C flows in yuan, but also B2B flows into China that requires.
So this is huge.
Yeah.
Just in terms of like what that is by itself, that's pretty uncommon. You don't hear that a lot.
Because it's hard.
It's very hard. So let's double click on this one, because it's first time talking about this, but two, it seems like this is a kind of a view into the future of how you're thinking about the business and like what you're going to be doing. So why is this exciting for you? And practically speaking, like, what did you and team have to go do to make this happen? I'm curious what that was like.
So, just generally speaking, there are countries that are easy and there are countries that are really difficult. And for countries that are really, really difficult, you have to just adapt to the rules and the norms of, what is expected from the banking and regulatory like bodies in those countries. And hide all of that complexity away from our clients, because they don't care. They just want to send money, like they send an email and they just want it to arrive.
Such a tension sometimes.
And so all of the sausage making is like our problem. It's not our client's problem. And that's where the value comes from. But the general sense is, if we can actually connect every domestic payment network that today is not interoperable with one another in real time, like the only interoperable layer is correspondent banking with Swift, right? And that's not real time. It's T+3, 5, whatever, depends. And so if you're able to start connecting all of those last domestic payment systems with one another with a real-time, super efficient, low-cost rail, you start becoming the settlement backbone and network for all of the payments if you're the path of least friction. I like to say that money is like water. It'll always, go through the path of least resistance. And I think we're close to that point of like having the most connectivity into the most payment systems with the most efficient rail, with the best developer tools. And ultimately that enables us to start being at the center of more and more volume for more and more platforms, and take all of the modalities that they want for pay-ins and payouts.
Yeah. What have you learned as just an executive operating at a global scale to get something like this done? Like what strategies or things have you picked up in your toolkit to actually be able to push through these kind of like global launches and global partnerships like this?
Yeah, I think, I have a friend of mine, Simon Sinek, who wrote that book, The Infinite Game, right? And so you have to take the infinite game approach to payments. There's no winning. Like, it's only one foot in front of another, one country after another, one redundancy path for each of the country after another. And the engine room is messy and it's complicated and it takes time and it takes a lot of commitment.
And it never ends.
And it never ends. And that's okay.
Yeah.
And like you compound the value of what you build over very long periods of time. And it's like payments businesses are slingshots, right? It's like it feels like really, 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 really hard. You pull, but then you get to a point where you have enough capabilities that it feels like the energy gets moved to the other side. So, and I feel like we're in that position at the company right now, which feels really, really great after 4 years of like hard work of
pulling back that slingshot.
Pulling back that
when did that slingshot release for you? Or like when was that kind of moment?
I mean, I do feel like, right now, the transition from we're connecting banks on UMA to enable them to communicate with one another, move money in real time, to no, we're actually going to have like an open orchestration and global money movement platform, plus Grid Global Accounts that we just launched 6 weeks ago now has everyone's attention because everyone, wants to basically keep the economics of all of the payouts that like all of those large platforms, right?
It's a very different in some ways. Like I'm going back to your really marquee partnership with Coinbase. I think when I was trying to understand like who's doing what, and Coinbase at that time was like the licensed counterparty for that infra. Like they were, my understanding is they were using all of that, and that's what made them a really great fit for that tech. It sounds like now you guys really want to play that role of being in the kind of licensed, trusted position.
We have to, because so last year we acquired Strigo, which is now Lightspark Payments Europe. That was
right. On your big conference. You did that. You announced.
Yeah, exactly. And so like that's going to be our EMI CASP entity in Europe as soon as we get this license converted, which is going to be probably soon. And that gives us like direct SEPA network participation. In the US, we have our own licenses, and then everywhere else around the world, we actually have like redundant routes into every payment network. Because like as you build more connectivity into like aggregators, you realize that what they say and what they can deliver is like actually quite different. And so you have to build redundancy, you have to build your first party connectivity wherever you can, and that just takes time.
Yeah. So you're going now into this position where you really want to be serving like the front end applications, people who have relationships with users, neobanks and platforms like this. What are you seeing? We a big theme for us is going to be covering a lot of this, but what are you seeing as like key winning strategies of the maybe existing partners or companies that are building with Grid, or just other applications or things that you've seen in your career? Like there's so much opportunity with the tools that exist to go build like niche go-to-market applications. What are you seeing as like the reasons why the ones that win do?
I mean, look, I think so. Let me just I think the thing to watch, in my opinion, in the next 9 months or so is really this transition from I'm just using stablecoins as a stablecoin sandwich, or to replace a payout in stablecoin and someone else's stablecoin in a wallet, to I'm going to own the infrastructure as a big platform. So let's say you're a creator platform, a gig economy platform, a marketplace, and you're paying out all of that money. And right now, when you pay out all of that money, it goes to banks that serve your customers, that you've created like this whole, like you are the economic nexus of all of these people and these small companies and sellers and all of these, right?
I like that word, nexus. I like that word.
And they have like banking needs, and basically you're relinquishing all of the economic value of deposits, of local and global payments, of interchange on card transactions. So we're becoming Visa principal members, and we announced that we're going to enable issuance of stablecoin-backed cards in 100+ countries. So with Grid Global Account, now you can own that relationship all the way to the end. And those accounts are super powerful multi-currency accounts where you can move your balance in real time to your local bank account if you need to. 24/7 on Sunday at 2 a.m. You want Mexican peso, you can do that.
Yeah.
You have a Visa card, you can spend it. You want to send money, not to Venezuela, but to Argentina, you can do that. And you want to send USDT on Tron, you can do that, right?
Yeah.
And so now, like you as a platform, you start to have like a branded account where you earn money on yield on deposits, on interchange on cards, on local and global transactions, and you keep the data in-house. So when it comes time for you to want to underwrite credit, for instance, for all of the marketplace players on your marketplace, you can do that because you're the best positioned player to do that. You have the best data. You're not leaking that data to the bank that's going to actually start lending money on your behalf. And that's a huge opportunity. And since we announced this, like we've been running like crazy people trying to meet that demand because everyone wants that.
Yeah. Who's the one? I think we can use this for our business. We're building something no one knows about, and it's essentially like the infrastructure you just talked about. Who's the best person at, I know you guys just brought on some key people on the sales side. Who's the best person to, if I'm, Stable Dash right now is thinking creatively about some like, I don't want to give too much away, but like we're thinking a lot about like intelligence and systems.
I'm actually closing a deal, right?
Well, it's a really, really interesting position to be in if you're in the relationship to the marketplace use case for stablecoin economics is really, really fascinating. If you can actually like keep those earnings or like payouts. So I'll be more candid when the cameras go off. But we need this. And so who's the best person to like get in the weeds? Because what we really are looking for as a bootstrapped young company is like a strategic partner to like really workshop this with us. Is that something that you guys are the capacity to do this?
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. We're doing this all the time. And we brought in a really, really good team that David Straussa, who joined us from Adyen earlier this year, has been building with Christina Potter, Alex Gillette, people that I think you're going to also have on the pod at some point.
Yeah.
And so we have the team, we have the capacity, and also we have like the intellectual curiosity to go build with people like you and try to find out like how we can build novel money applications out there.
Yeah. My first question, selfishly, and then we can close, is I know you've had a really strategic relationship with Brale for what's it again? USDB. Is that still how are you thinking about the issuance side of this? Is that going to be kind of the default stablecoin infrastructure or the stablecoin asset that goes in here? Or if we were wanting to issue a stablecoin that was ours, is that the partner we would work with? Like, how does that work now?
Yeah, so we have a really good, solid partnership with Brale, and they've been like really amazing partners to work with.
But it's more modular. We can
yeah, totally. You can bring your own if you have an existing stablecoin. You can bring your own, there are other participants.
I saw Joao from M0 walking around. So if we go to M0 and we issue something like that, would play well with a system like this.
We need to figure it out. I don't know about M0 specifically, but man, maybe we should do a tri-party deal right now.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. And I'm imagining there's like maybe flexibility and like some of those economics being shared with
Lightspark. But I think that's the whole point, right? Cool. It's like the economics are meant to be enjoyed by the platforms that are generating the economic opportunity for their stakeholders.
Cool. What last question, and kind of as we close, anything we've missed or things that get you excited as you think about the future and this new, not in some ways new, but in some ways not new moment of slingshot that you guys are in?
No, I mean, look, I think it's all execution at this point, and we've got the right product, the right time, the right team, so it feels really good.
Let's go.
Yeah,
let's go, David. Thanks for your time.
Thank you so much for having me.
We're gonna take a quick break. That was our exclusive conversation with David Marcus. Hope you enjoyed it. We're here live in Mexico City, and we'll take a quick break and we'll be right back.